Okay. Hello. Thank you for joining. Welcome to the Gamer Librarian podcast. We are on episode 113. We just had our fourth or so guest here on the podcast. Crazy. Now, if you haven't seen that episode, which is pretty cool, we want to do more things like that, but there's just so much things to do, so many things to do, so many games, so many books, manga, things to experience. It is hard to get every type of, chance out there, chance of experience. There is a lot of things coming up. The end of the year, 2025, we are on the end of it. Crazy, crazy. The Game Awards coming right up. We are going to do a go through of the voting system. OBS was giving us some trouble and we had to update the AMD drive so we don't have the recordings for it, which is upsetting. Now, otherwise, we're just going to go through and talk about our initial, you know, take of it because every year I feel like it's something with method worth mentioning here for us. The Game Awards has always been a time where, two things happen in the Game Awards. There is the announcements, which is crazy, right? Whatever is announced can be, you know, from 5 years ago, whatever is showcase could be from 5 years ago that we've already seen and all that. Things like the Wolverine gameplay, I think more of that would obviously be expected. And obviously things like Elden Ring stuff and that um, Nintendo uh, Bloodborne like game that they have coming out, next year. Insane. But then there's the award ceremony sequence of it. And here on the podcast, we've always been more on the announcement side. We've never really cared much for the voting and all that stuff because it's obviously not to a standard, the voting at least, to what people would say is fair or true or anything like that, right? Now, there's a whole committee and stuff, and I don't really like to go into the nitty gritty of that because, it is what it is. There's a whole bunch of people involved, so there's no real reason to just pick on that. But internet and other things like that could say differently, right? So for things like Game of the Year, we've always here on the podcast said that it was going to be Claire Obscure Expedition 33. Always. There are big contenders that could be here. And two is the keyword. Two is the keyword because Hades 2, I mean, I've played it. I've played Hades 1, Hades 2. I like Hades 1 more. I think Hades 1 has a little bit more like like differentiate, like a lot, there's a lot more to differentiate itself per playthrough, per run with the different weapons. And I'm going to say the interactive ability with the hub world and the gods is a lot better in the first game. Just from my initial perspective, it's just I like the first game a lot better. Silk Song, right? Hollow Knight Silk Song is a game that is a sequel and it was beloved. It was hyped. It crashed all of the services, right? Nintendo, Steam, Xbox, and the Sony platforms. But Game of the Year, I don't necessarily think so because it's definitely just a fun Hollow Knight platformer game, but not necessarily, not with some of the other games here that's on here. And I can say it, we've finally played every single Game of the Year nominee for this year. We did it. We played Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. It's still a sequel, and from what I've played, it's not even the type of sequel that's as advanced as what the first game was. It definitely plays better. It plays infinitely, infinitely better. But man, there is something to say about like that the save system in it, which carried over from the first game into this game. I don't necessarily know how, or maybe I just haven't seen an auto save system or some way to turn the snaps off. I mean, like an item system isn't necessarily the worst thing ever, but it's not the type of thing that these type of games usually do for, you know, the broader experience. And it just makes a little bit of the maneuverability in the game a little harder. Obviously, that's part of the gameplay style, but to me, initially, it's just not the best when it's like, I'm gonna do a little searching, trying to deal with some of the, you know, interactability inside of the game, trying to find stuff, find people, all that stuff, dealing with the dialogue stuff. The saving is, whew, whew, you got to be prepared, which is, something to say about the gameplay, but is it the next type of experience that the first game needed? No. No, I don't even think so. I don't even think so in a little bit. To that same degree, Death Stranding 2. It's a sequel. It doesn't even do that much better of an experience as the first game did. It does like offer a more cohesive adventure for it. I think that with the additive like terrain devices and all the stuff you can build and things like that, all of that was really great this time around. That was one of the cooler things about Death Stranding 2, and everything else was obviously, up to the same pedigree. It's a sequel, it's just another sequel. And here's where things get tricky because I think the only two real contenders here is Donkey Kong Bonanza, Clair Obscur, and 33. Like that's just it. Bonanza, at least, while it is a 3D based adventure game, which isn't new, it didn't really bring platformers or even Donkey Kong back into you know, a new fashion that you would think it would. It was kind of like, oh, it's here. It doesn't even feel like the kind of Breath of the Wild type, oh my God, type experience that we kind of had twice now. And this, cool, the destructibility, all that stuff, awesome. I didn't necessarily like the level design and the like the combat was like super simple, and I'm not gonna say anything on that. It's a you know rated E game. It's for everyone. It is only on one platform. Let's throw that into the ring, right? This is a game that is only on one platform. Expedition 33, I played it on Game Pass. I know for a fact it's on Sony stuff. It's on Steam. Sorry, sorry, but let's start getting into the real Venn diagram of the game of the year. It's Claire Obscur Expedition 33. Like it's for sure a wash with that against all those nominees, even though they're all fun games, right? I think that they're all fun. Put in, at least 50 hours into every one of these games. Insane. Best game direction. Who, I mean, I didn't play Split Fiction, and I don't think Ghost of Yotai really had it, right? It wasn't exciting to want. It wasn't really like, I missed out on it, right? We're not really going to go on that. Here, there's Death Stranding 2, I mean, that felt like a movie. Hades 2 is just like, n- you know, kind of straightforward, but I feel like there wasn't as much depth to the character conversation as there was with the first game. So I wouldn't really say that. Collect Screw Expedition 33. I mean, the ups and downs, the beats of that game, I remember far more than I did for Death Stranding 2. It was just insane. I would like to play Split Fiction, but that's going to be a future endeavor. I think I skipped a category. No, we did not. Best narrative. Want to do Silent Hill F. I would like to, but it wasn't nominated for Game of the Year, and we got Silent Hill 2 as the remake, which was fine, fine. But if your remake is this type of motion and it kind of came out last year and here's your new one, I don't know. I feel like that experience could be a lot better, and something like Resident Evil already nailed it. I played Silent Hill 2, and for what it was, it played clunky, and it was just like I don't know, not necessarily the way that I wanted to be experiencing Silent Hill again. Narrative. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, I think, has a decent narrative, but I think it's far too open and just like Henry is just a potato sack. He's just bland. He's not really a character even we can express ourselves in. And it feels odd in a way because like I feel like the game hard setting you as a blacksmith's son and then the blacksmith skill kind of not being all that necessarily great even from the start, or just not having some type of way to interact with that from the beginning. I don't necessarily see all that massive hype behind Kingdom Come Deliverance being the type of game that it is, but for its world, its like experience, that is on par with anything else that I've ever played. But it's just as a video game, it's just kind of hard to overcome some of the other aspects to even enjoy the narrative. Like some of the missions are fun, they're really enjoyable, but even like traveling and being like, I want to do this, but then I have to go and maybe do all of this and kind of the stuff. It's not the same as maybe Fallout or Bethesda in that same degree. Now, Claire Obscure Expedition 33. I mean, do I even have to say it? Is there even words for the ups and downs? I mean, come on. Best art direction. Now, I don't necessarily like going into graphics, right? But I can say that if it was going to be between anything, it would be between Death Stranding 2 and Clair Obscur. I mean, from what I initially saw of Ghost of Yurtai, it wasn't even that good of a looking game. But Clair Obscur Expedition 33 had some awesome, awesome visuals, and like its locales were so distinct. The underwater one was insane. Some of the later ones kind of get like gray and dark, but then there's even like some black and white ones, and it's pretty insane, especially with the fighting and stuff. That stuff is so cool. Death Stranding 2 had some awesome terrain design. I mean, insane terrain, and even the characters like look better than Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Like, let's be real here. The characters on Death Stranding 2 look better than Clair Expedition. So I think between those two, if I had to pick, it would just be Clair Expedition, just because overall the terrains, the areas looked, I think, overall better, more interesting to look at. Score and music, I'm not even gonna say it. I'm just gonna vote because there's one. There is one. I don't want to judge music, but I have one right. Best audio design. Now, while the songs are great for Expedition, and I'll even say like Battlefield 6 is on here, audio is great. Didn't do Ghost of Yotei, didn't do Silent Hill. The beats with the songs in the Death Stranding 2 game, where you're just traveling, like not even just a cutscene, just walking. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna pick on that. That's my favorite. Performance. See, like I'm not really gonna judge here because I didn't play Silent Hill F. It's the only one that's not a Ghost of Yotei. And even then, Troy Baker played Indiana Jones, and he is a movie character. So I, I am not voting for that. But I'm gonna be a little biased here. I like Charlie Cox because Daredevil, so he's just gonna get my vote based on that. But they're all great performances. They really are. Every single one of them. I can't do that shit. Innovation and accessibility. I mean, I don't know why Doom is up here. I don't know why Assassin's Creed is up here. Stratum Falls is a fun game. EA Sports is insane. South Third, right? I don't. We're just gonna skip on that because I think accessibility needs to be something on a big blanket, a big umbrella type scope. I think it needs to be something where like everybody needs to be able to at least experience it in some way. So that's it. Games for impact. What are we talking about impact here? See, like we're just gonna skip that. Like that's I'm not really gonna get into the nitty gritty of that. Best ongoing game. As somebody who's delved a lot into Final Fantasy 14, I I don't know if it's to that same type of degree because I don't know if the later content like justifies it being heralded as like the best ongoing game because I think there's another game like that I'm looking at that at least deserves it for what it offered way back when. I mean, it's still hitting shit. I mean, Helldivers 2, I think, is definitely on that like number two spot. If I had to pick a number two, I think Helldivers offers a lot. I kind of wish it had modes where you could do one and then two and then three and four just players or CPUs and all that in some fashion. You know, it's that kind of accessibility stuff that I talk about, and Final Fantasy hasn't quelled that in a decent way. So I don't think they're ever going to be able to do that with the systems. Helldivers 2 can. Helldivers 2 would benefit from it. Marvel Rivals. It is getting insane content. Insane. This, I think this is like its first year. So, you know, it's up there, but I don't really want to contend it with something that I have far more time with and with Helldivers 2. And I think is far more impactful on an individualistic video game like side for terms of like ongoing. Like Marvel Rivals is backed by obviously the biggest company like the world. Nah, I mean, it just copies Overwatch. It's not necessarily that kind of thing. This is at least like some pseudo, you know, um, Starship Troopers or you know, real high like sci-fi thing. I like it. I really like it. And for what it has to offer, I think it can go a lot further in terms of its scope. Marvel Rivals, it just has its characters and its maps going. I think its modes are going to start because here's the thing: they take away modes. There's like those other online games. I don't like that, and maybe Helldivers does that to a degree, but I don't know. The online game, the ongoing game, is difficult to judge. But Fortnite obviously is up there. I don't think it's right. It's talked about all the time. But No Man's Sky, this game's going on forever. That's insane. I mean, they gotta get it. I want them just to get it again because that's insane. I know they're still putting out content. That game has improved so much. Community support. I mean, Baldur's Gate has like mods. If Fortnite's just massive. Helldivers had people hate it for a while and come back. Pretty much the same thing happened with 14, except it was like actually taken down for a while. And then No Man's Sky, everyone, you know, disliked it. Now it seems like everybody really, you know, I'm not really gonna vote on that because that's really like I just feel like it's not community supporting a game. Like that's kind of insane to a degree. It's definitely developers. That's just best independent game. I mean, some of these games, I never played Absalom. Absalom sounds really cool, but I mean, I don't know if Clair Obscur is really a independent game and has a publisher. Supergiant Games is also like its sequel. It's it's not like that. Silk Song, also Team Cherry's sequel. So I played Ball Pit, but Ball Pit is, I guess, published in some degree or works with Devolver Digital. They make so many games. No, I'm gonna vote for Blueprints only because I know it's one of the smaller out of the two that I are thinking of deserving it. Absalom and Blueprints, but I've played Blueprints. That's really just it. I liked it for what it was. I think maybe if I played Absalom, I might like it more, but I played Blueprints. That was it. Best debut indie. So there's some contention about Dispatch being made by veterans of Telltale, and then Dispello I haven't even heard anything about. Debut indie game. Here's the publisher difference between Blueprints and Claire Expedition. If we're gonna make it over these two, debut indie game, like it's just their first. I'm gonna go with Claire Obscure Expedition. I mean, what are we doing here? No offense to puzzle games. I love puzzle games. I love them, but I like other type of experiences. Best mobile game. So here's the thing. Atlas. Atlas, if you're watching, I would love to just have my Persona 5 Phantom X playing on my phone at work or anywhere else on the go. But my phone can't. And I'm not doing that. I just bought a new PS5 because of the liquid metal nonsense or whatever the fuck. So that ain't happening. But if you want to sponsor, if you're even listening, I will play that game for 1,000 hours because I think it's cool. I love Persona. I love the style of it. I love being able to experience like that type of Persona gameplay, even if it's a gacha game, because I think Persona kind of offers itself really well to a gacha system, and the gacha systems are really cool for games like Persona. Now, I think that the character addition, rotation, paying for them, I don't know how that works. I haven't even looked into it. I've gotten a good majority of characters free from like the first 50 hours I played of it initially, right? That was just 50 hours. I'm still on like the first initial chapter. There are other games to play, and I would prefer Persona 6 over experiencing a Persona 5 type game again. But in Interlude, it would be cool to play. But best mobile game, I think there's only one game that deserves it. And thank God there's no video of me voting for this one because it was just so memed to hell. It was just memed. It was just so memed to hell. Best VR AR. I don't play VR games, but I'm gonna be biased here. If Alien is on here, I'm gonna vote for it. I'm sure an Alien experience on VR is super cool. Gonna have to go for it. Whew, action game. Okay. Never played Shinobi. It is a side scroller. Don't know if I'll play it. Hades 2. Played it. Ninja Gaiden 4. Now, Ninja Gaiden, I think would probably be maybe my pick if I played Ninja Gaiden up to this point. Don't know if that's going to happen. Sadly, I did play Doom the Dark Ages. That is not, no, not getting my vote. No. Battlefield 6. I'm getting a lot of time into this game. It is pretty cool. I'm liking it a lot. Action adventure. I mean, I didn't play 3 of these games. Hollow Knight, Silksong didn't feel like that big adventure kinda did in the first game. It felt grander, but the first game felt like I'm trudging through some places that are forgotten, dank, and there's bugs all around. I liked that a lot more. That was a lot cooler to me. Destiny 2 gets it. I mean, moving
Mhm.
around in that game is the best. I love that. So cool. Best RPG. I've played them. It's gonna have to go to Clair Obscur. If those are the type of RPGs that we're putting up there, it's gonna have to be those ones. Best fighting. Big contingency with that one. Best fighting. Now, I didn't get a chance to play 2XKO. I wouldn't know. I would like to. Didn't get a chance to play Virtua or the Mortal Kombat Legacies or the Capcom 2 collection. But, you know, this is really the list that we have. That's what's really sad. Best family game. I would love to give Sonic Racing Cross Worlds and Lego Party a try. I mean, I just haven't gotten to do that. So I think we're relatively done with the Game Awards. I mean, I think I'm just gonna have to do this one out of spite. This last one, the best sim slash strategy one. I don't even want to look at Civ 7 ever again. Like I don't even want to ever look at that game ever again. I don't know what the other contenders are, but obviously Final Fantasy is a remake. I going to bring back those type of isometric games. So out of pure spite, I'm voting for the remake game because Civ was so awful, just so not good. And yeah, that's really just gonna have to be it, you know? Yeah, that's the Game Awards. Insane. Who's to say what we're gonna have announced? But I think we all know what games are gonna be like shown off. Obviously, so Nintendo's gonna have something for their uh Bloodborne type game, Dust Bloods. But what like Sony's gonna have Wolverine or whatever the hell. Xbox is up in the air. People saying things like Fallout or something like that. Ooh, who could say? Now we have a few more minutes, smaller things to talk about here that we never really got to talk about last episode because of the Kickstarter that we had, and that was Kirby Air Riders. This game is incredibly fun. Don't know why it wasn't, you know, necessarily nominated for some of these party games or whatever the hell on the Game Awards, but it brings back some great memories of playing on the GameCube. Like that's what it is in handheld version. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. And it has all the accoutrements you would want out of a Sakurai game. The menus just smash. Everything about it, the sounds just smash. Sounds very similar, right? Love it. So very awesome to experience that game. Brings back all the nostalgia that I ever could have wanted from a Kirby Air Riders sequel, which never ever was expected in the past, which was insane to think about. And to be able to play like a new version of it just on the Switch on the go, it's very nice. It's very nice. We've been playing Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Don't know how much further we're gonna get into that game because we have to do Metal Gear Solid. That just has to be done and over with. I don't know what else to say about that. So when I finish Metal Gear Solid 3, we're gonna do our damnedest to do Metal Gear Solid 4, and then we're done with Metal Gear forever. Forever. We've been saying it for too long. It's finally December. I can't believe it. But eventually maybe at some point. Battlefield 6 has been a lot of fun, but maybe it's not going to be the multiplayer game that I'm playing for a while now because the Elden Ring Night Rain DLC is here. We're going to get two whole new bosses and two whole new characters, a new shifting earth, and I guess that's pretty much it. Besides like overworld enemies, I guess stuff like that. Yeah, I mean that's insane for this year to wrap up in this way. Next year is going to be a wild ride for video games. And in between, we're reading a lot of stuff. So don't know what books we're going to get a chance to read in the future. I want to read a Cliff Blazinski book somehow, and the future is called like I think Control Freak. Maybe we'll do that beginning of the year, but until then, it's manga because we did a lot of manga over the course of the podcast here, and there has been one that's been elusive to the list here. and we've forgotten a few over the year or two that we've been doing the podcast. But this is one where I want to definitely read as it comes out. And this is me bitching again on the access that we have for these mangas. Shonen Jump needs to step it up and just let everyone be on their platform, or get a platform that has all of the manga on it in a library somewhere, company, publisher in there. Listen, I don't know where to read an app on my phone, but I did it. Read all of it, 1 to 112. And as far as I know, there's a lot of chapters written by Shinya Umemura and Takakumi Fukui, and illustrated by Azuchika. I said that wrong. I'm sorry. Now, I was turned on the record with Ragnarok by a friend years ago, and I was like, "This is a Netflix anime. This is this is probably going to be not really all that good. It'll probably be really short." I was wrong. I was wrong. Now, I've only watched a few Netflix animes, like animes that have been, I guess, entirely published by Netflix. Entire anime is published by Netflix. I mean, I was so against Deadly Seven Sins that I was like, "There's no way they could ever do anything good ever again with like anime." I was just like, "This kind of sucks." I was like, "Oh, this is a manga beforehand. Oh, this also probably sucks." Ragnarok is definitely a surprise for its pacing. I thought it would be like really short. No, we're still waiting on season 3. And when we finally got to the season 3 fight, whatever we're going to be seeing in season 3, I was like, this shit is tight. And the manga, awesome. I mean, if you've watched the anime, because the Adam and the Jack the Ripper fights were so cool that I was like, oh, I'm definitely going to read the manga if I'm ever like going to have time. And then season 2 came out like very shortly after. And I was like, okay, let's do that. And I was like, all right, we could maybe wait and then do the manga at some point. Nah, there's a fight in here where I was like, I wouldn't want to miss this ever. My favorite, this would be a little bit of spoiler, right? So this would be a little bit of spoiler. Favorite fight is the fight involving Nikola Tesla. That's just it. I'm just gonna say that name because he's my favorite. Super cool. The type of fighting and reasons for fighting that I love for like tournaments, the side of humanity and stuff like that. I don't know, the sci-fi-ness of me, super cool. So, Record Ragnarok, super sick. One Piece. One Piece. One Piece has layers. One Piece is an onion fruit. There is so much to the world government that we just don't know yet. And when we have like a tree of it, of actual like branch of it, a big like family tree, it's going to be insane because between the newest one that we just got, 1167, there's like 3 covenants, I guess, within One Piece. I don't know if they were ever mentioned before. The Depths, Abyssal, and the Sallows covenants. And now those seem to be pretty insane because they're involving like gods now. So now we're getting into how the government interacts with the gods and the pirates and stuff because of the revolutions coming up. And now we just got all the like the giant type of civil war. I guess the giants are kind of like the Vikings, where like the world government got Vikings like the I guess like the UK, EU, in the early past, Britain or whatever. We had them use Vikings, I guess, for warfare. This is kind of the same thing, I suppose. Super, super cool, insane. I love One Piece. This has been super insane. And then, Dan the Dan, I think we have a Chainsaw Man that we're just, a little bit behind on. And I just remembered there's a new JoJo's. It's like chapter 30 or something. That's actually insane. I can't wait to read that now. So, that's pretty much it. A little longer of an episode than anticipated. We had some technical difficulties, but next we might have some OBS stream stuff going on because we're going to get that to work. So, anyway, peace.